Never tell people what you do. Silence is your hidden weapon in a world addicted to noise. Those who speak too soon lose power, but those who move in silence create impact. Subscribe, like, and comment. I choose silence. To claim your power, let's begin this journey. In a world addicted to oversharing, silence has become a forgotten weapon. Everywhere you look, people are quick to display their plans, their ideas, even their dreams, as though saying them aloud will somehow bring them to life. Social media is filled with half-born visions, declared goals, and promises of a future that has not yet been earned. It feels powerful to talk. It feels bold to announce. But the truth, one often overlooked, is that every word spoken prematurely is like air leaking from a balloon. It weakens the pressure, it lessens the force. Napoleon Hill once reminded us that genuine wisdom is usually conspicuous through modesty and silence. The strongest minds do not race to reveal. They master the art of restraint. Why then do people talk? For many, it is a craving for validation. To speak of a plan is to seek applause, to feel for a moment as though the work is already accomplished. For others, it is the fear of being forgotten. They speak to stay noticed, to keep their name alive in a sea of voices. And for some, it is the urge to impress, to gain recognition by attaching themselves to the vision of success rather than the reality of achievement. Yet these impulses, though human, rob us of something far greater, the quiet intensity of focused action. Talking feels like progress, but it secretly weakens resolve. It creates a false sense of accomplishment, as if the mere act of declaring is equal to the discipline of doing. There's a paradox hidden here. When you tell people what you intend to do, you may receive the temporary high of approval, but the fire within you begins to dim. The energy that should be channeled into action escapes in the form of words. You allow others to step into the sacred ground of your imagination, and once they enter, they can plant doubt, offer discouragement, or worse, steal the very ideas you hope to build. History is filled with dreamers who announce too soon and watch their visions wither under the weight of premature exposure. Great achievers understand this danger. They live by a different rhythm. They do not measure themselves by how loudly they proclaim their goals, but by how relentlessly they pursue them in silence. Their victories are not preceded by noise, but revealed by undeniable results. They move quietly, as though invisible, until the moment comes when their work can no longer be ignored. Then, and only then, do they allow the world to see what has been forged in silence. This is a hidden key to power, to guard your vision, to protect your energy, and to let your results do the talking. For in the end, true strength is not in what you announce. It is in what you accomplish. There is a reason why the greatest minds in history guarded their ideas as though they were treasures hidden in vaults. They knew that words are not neutral. They are currents of energy. Every time you speak of a dream too soon, you drain its force. The law of secrecy in success is simple but profound. Protect your vision until it has gathered enough strength to stand on its own. This principle has been violated by countless dreamers who mistook the applause of early talk for the substance of true achievement. They spoke too quickly, shared too broadly, and their ambitions evaporated before they had the chance to materialize. Napoleon Hill often reminded us that you should tell the world what you intend to do, but show it first. It is not the announcement that gives power. It is the demonstration. Talk is cheap. Action is costly. The world is filled with people who declare intentions, but history only remembers those who carried them through. The law of secrecy insists that your plans remain sacred until they become results. Silence is not secrecy for its own sake. It is the incubator creation. Just as a seed grows best beneath the soil, away from exposure, so too do dreams require darkness, privacy, and protection before they can reach the light. Consider the countless inventors who unveiled their ideas too soon. Some spoke openly in the wrong company, only to see their concepts stolen and developed by others with more resources. Others revealed their plans to skeptical family and friends, only to be laughed at until their confidence collapsed. The world does not always honor visionaries at the beginning. In fact, more often it resists them, mocks them, and seeks to pull them back into conformity. The law of secrecy protects you from this resistance. It allows your idea to grow roots before it must withstand the winds of criticism. Psychologically, the law of secrecy also strengthens resolve. When you keep a goal private, You create a burning desire within. It is a quiet fire that no one else can touch, no critic can douse, no doubter can weaken. You become the guardian of your own flame, and in that protection, the flame grows hotter. But the moment you reveal it too soon, the flame begins to flicker. You have allowed the world to breathe on it, and the world does not always blow in your favor. Talking creates the illusion of progress, but illusions never built empires. Action builds empires, and action flourishes in silence. There is also the phenomenon of energy leakage. When you describe in detail what you plan to do, you gain a temporary satisfaction, almost as if the goal were already achieved. This satisfaction is deceptive. It reduces your hunger to take the necessary steps, because your brain rewards itself for the imagined accomplishment. It is like feasting on the smell of food without ever eating the meal. You feel full, but your body remains unfed. The law of secrecy disciplines you against this illusion. It trains you to starve for progress, to stay hungry until real success arrives. Think of Andrew Carnegie, one of the wealthiest men of his era. Carnegie built an empire of steel, yet rarely announced his next move before it was completed. His workers and competitors often discovered his intentions only when the results were undeniable. Or consider Henry Ford, who quietly refined his vision of an affordable automobile, while skeptics laugh at the idea. Had Ford sought validation from the masses before the Model T was born, he might have surrendered to their disbelief. Instead, he moved in silence until the world had no choice but to acknowledge him. The law of secrecy was their shield, and through it, their ideas transformed industries. This law does not call for isolation or distrust of all people. There is wisdom in counsel, and Napoleon Hill himself taught the value of the mastermind, trusted allies who contribute to your vision. But even here, discernment is key. The mastermind is not the crowd. It is not the public. It is not every friend or family member. The mastermind is carefully chosen, selected for loyalty, belief, and contribution. Outside of this circle, your plans deserve the shelter of silence. To apply this law in daily life, begin by examining how freely you speak of your goals. Do you announce them at the first spark of excitement? Do you share them with people who cannot possibly help you? Do you chase the thrill of being seen as ambitious more than the substance of becoming accomplished? If so, recognize that this habit is costing you energy. Each word you release is a piece of your drive escaping into the air. The discipline of silence may feel heavy at first, but with practice, it becomes liberating. You will discover that your energy lasts longer, your focus sharpens, and your hunger to act increases. Imagine your goals as seedlings planted in a garden. If you dig them up every day to show your neighbors, they will never grow. But if you cover them, water them quietly, and allow time to work, one day you will shock the same neighbors with the fullness of your harvest. That is the essence of the law of secrecy. Hide your beginnings. Unveil only your results. The applause will be louder, the respect deeper, and your own confidence unshakable. The law of secrecy and success is not just advice. It is a shield, a weapon, and a strategy. To master it is to ensure that your vision grows into reality without being suffocated by premature exposure. The greatest battles of success are not fought in the marketplace, nor in the boardroom, nor even in the fields of competition. They are fought in the quiet chambers of the human mind. And the enemies that invade these chambers are often subtle: doubt, fear, hesitation, and discouragement. The moment you begin to speak too freely of your plans, you open the gates of your mind for these enemies to march in. Every listener becomes a potential source of influence, and not all influence is friendly. Some will doubt you openly, others will discourage you softly, and still others will laugh in ways that echo in your memory. The result is the same. Their voices become part of your inner dialogue. They corrupt your belief, weaken your conviction, and rob you of the courage you need to pursue your vision. Napoleon Hill observed that the subconscious mind is always absorbing. It does not filter or argue. It accepts whatever is repeated with conviction. If you declare your vision and someone replies with criticism, skepticism, or fear, those words, too, seep into your subconscious. You may not notice at first, but over time they take root. A seed of doubt grows into hesitation. Hesitation becomes delay. Delay becomes surrender. This is why protecting your mind is so vital. Your ideas are like fragile seedlings. Expose them too soon, and the cold winds of negativity can kill them before they sprout. Consider the young inventor who shares his idea with his family instead of encouragement he hears. That will never work. You're wasting your time. Why not choose something safer? Their words are not spoken with malice. They are spoken from fear, from limited experience, from the comfort of conformity. Yet those words carry weight. The inventor begins to question himself. His once burning desire is dimmed by the borrowed fears of others. What might have changed the world instead dies in silence. This tragedy happens not because the dream lacked value, but because the dreamer allowed outside voices to plant doubt in fertile soil. Fear and doubt are contagious. When you speak of your plans, you invite others to project their limitations onto you. A person who never took risks will tell you that risk is foolish. A person who failed at their own attempts will predict your failure. A person who cannot imagine greatness will insist that your vision is too big. They do not mean to harm you, but their influence is harmful nonetheless. And once these thoughts enter your mind, they compete with your faith. The human mind cannot sustain two masters at once. It must choose. Faith and doubt cannot live side by side for long. One will grow, and the other will shrink. This is why silence is not merely a strategy, but a shield. By keeping your goals private, you keep your subconscious clear of unnecessary contamination. You choose what seeds are planted. You affirm your vision daily through self-talk and visualization, and no outside critic is allowed to interfere. Hill called this auto-suggestion, the process of feeding your mind with the beliefs you wish to hold. But auto-suggestion works both ways. If you allow others to speak their fears into your life, their suggestions become your reality. Guard your mind as you would guard a fortress, because every fortress has enemies seeking entry. Imagine you are building a castle. Each thought you entertain becomes a stone in its walls. If you permit the wrong builders inside, they will lay weak stones, and soon your castle crumbles. But if you select only those stones shaped by faith, discipline, and conviction, your castle will stand against any storm. Protecting your mind from doubt means choosing carefully who and what is allowed to influence you. There's another danger hidden in revealing too much: the risk of ridicule. Few things cut deeper than mockery. When someone laughs at your vision, it creates shame. Shame is a poison to ambition. Many dreams have been abandoned not because they were impossible, but because the dreamer could not bear the laughter of the crowd. But notice this truth: those who mock are almost always those who never dare. Their laughter is a defense of their own mediocrity. If you learn to stay silent, you never give them ammunition. They cannot laugh at what they do not know. Silence also gives you time to strengthen your own belief. When you keep your plans private, you rely on your own conviction rather than the approval of others. You repeat your affirmations, you visualize your success, and each day your faith grows stronger. Then, when the time comes to act publicly, your belief is unshakable. No critic can sway you, no ridicule can weaken you, because your mind has already been fortified. This is the essence of protecting the mind, building such strong inner faith that outside voices become powerless. To practice this protection, begin with awareness. Notice how often you share your ideas with those who cannot help you. Notice how their reactions affect your mood. Do you leave conversations more confident or less? Do you feel energized or drained? If the latter, it is a sign that you are exposing your dreams to the wrong soil. Next, make a commitment to limit your words. Speak of your goals only to those who share your vision, who will water it with encouragement rather than poison it with fear. And even then, share sparingly, holding back the most sacred parts for yourself. You must also train your mind daily through auto-suggestion. Each morning and evening, feed your subconscious with words of faith. I will succeed. My vision is possible. My goal is mine to achieve. These affirmations act as armor against the darts of doubt. Coupled with visualization, they create an unshakable image of success in your mind. When doubt approaches, your mind rejects it because it already holds a stronger picture. The law of secrecy is not merely about silence. It is about safeguarding the most powerful tool you possess, your mind. For every idea begins there, Every plan is born there, and every victory is first won there. If you allow fear and doubt to corrupt your mind, no amount of effort in the world can save your dream. But if you protect it, nurture it, and keep it free of contamination, nothing in the world can stop your dream from becoming real. Silence, then, is not weakness. It is protection. It is the guardian of faith, the shield against doubt, and the secret weapon of those destined for greatness. There is something irresistibly powerful about mystery. Human nature is drawn to the unknown, fascinated by what it cannot fully see, curious about what is withheld. When you speak little about your plans, when you keep your ambitions hidden, you create an aura that draws attention far more effectively than constant chatter ever could. This is not deception. It is mastery. It is the art of letting your silence do the talking, of allowing curiosity to pull people toward you while you quietly build the foundations of your success. Napoleon Hill taught that the imagination is the workshop of the mind. Controlled imagination is the secret force behind all achievement. But imagination that is constantly exposed, constantly explained, and constantly dissected loses its magic. It becomes ordinary. The magnetic power of mystery is that it preserves the sacredness of imagination. When others cannot predict your next move, they cannot interfere with it. They can only watch, wonder, and wait. Think of the individuals throughout history who commanded attention simply by their restraint. Leaders who rarely spoke, but when they did, every word was remembered. Entrepreneurs who appeared to come from nowhere with innovations that changed entire industries. Artists who revealed their work only when it was complete, shocking the world with the depth of their talent. Their silence was not emptiness. It was presence. By speaking less, they allowed curiosity to grow. By withholding their intentions, they magnified their influence. Mystery created a magnetic pull. People are instinctively drawn to those who are not constantly broadcasting their every thought. The person who explains too much, who declares every plan, who fills the air with endless words, eventually becomes predictable. Predictability breeds indifference. But the one who holds back, who reveals little, who moves quietly, this person becomes a subject of speculation. Others lean in, try to guess what they are building, what they are planning, what they will do next. Curiosity is a powerful force, and it works in your favor when you master the art of mystery. There is also protection in this magnetism. When people cannot read your full intentions, they cannot sabotage them. Competitors cannot copy what they cannot see. Critics cannot attack what they do not know. Those who would seek to undermine you are left powerless, for your silence deprives them of a target. This is why he'll emphasize the value of controlled speech and guarded imagination. By maintaining an air of mystery, you shield your goals from those who might weaken them and at the same time amplify your influence. Consider the parable of the silent man at the table. Among a group of talkers, he said little, offering only a nod or a quiet smile while others tried to impress. Yet when the evening ended, it was his silence that commanded the most respect. The others wondered, what does he know? What is he thinking? Why does he not need to prove himself? His mystery created an aura of authority. This simple story illustrates a profound truth. People respect what they cannot fully define. This principle applies not only to social interactions, but to the building of dreams. If you reveal every step of your process, you rob yourself of power. You allow the world to treat your vision as common before it has become extraordinary. But if you keep your process private, unveiling only the finished product, the world is forced to marvel. Mystery magnifies your achievement because it adds the element of surprise. Few things are more powerful than shocking the world with results no one saw coming. To practice the magnetic power of mystery, you must cultivate discipline over your tongue. Speak less than you know, reveal less than you plan, and let your actions do the loudest talking. This does not mean you live in secrecy for its own sake. It means you choose what to reveal and when. The wise do not rush to fill silence. They understand that silence itself speaks. Each unspoken word adds weight to the words that eventually are spoken. Each unshared plan adds power to the plan that finally becomes visible. There is also an inner dimension to mystery. By keeping your vision private, you keep your energy concentrated. You are no longer drained by the opinions of others. You no longer live for applause or fight against ridicule. You live in alignment with your own conviction, untouched by the noise of the world. This concentrated energy is magnetic in itself. People sense it. They may not know what you are building, but they can feel the focus, the determination, the intensity. And that intensity attracts opportunities, allies, and resources. Mystery also teaches patience. When you restrain your urge to reveal, you practice delayed gratification. You choose the satisfaction of ultimate success over the temporary thrill of being noticed. This discipline not only preserves your vision, but strengthens your character. It trains you to resist the world's demand for constant visibility, and instead prioritize the quiet labor that produces lasting greatness. Look at the lion. The lion does not announce the hunt. It moves silently, hidden in the tall grass, patient, focused, waiting for the right moment. When the strike comes, it is swift, undeniable, and final. That is the power of mystery in action. The lion's silence is not weakness. It is strategy. Your silence must be the same. Do not broadcast your every move. Do not let others predict your timing. Work quietly, then deliver with such force that the world has no choice but to take notice. In the end, the magnetic power of mystery is not about hiding. It is about positioning. You are not withdrawing from the world. You are preparing to impact it with maximum effect. You are choosing to be underestimated until the moment arrives when your results cannot be ignored. And when that moment comes, your silence will transform into thunder. The world is full of talkers. They announce their dreams before they have taken a single step toward them. They tell everyone what they will do, how big they will become, how much they will achieve. But when the time comes to act, their words vanish into thin air. The stage of life does not reward announcements. It rewards execution. The difference between those who talk and those who achieve lies in one principle: action over announcements. Napoleon Hill warned against the weakness of premature declaration. He observed that those who announce too soon rob themselves of the energy required to bring a vision to life. When you talk too much about what you intend to do, you experience the illusion of accomplishment. The applause you receive from others satisfies you just enough to weaken your hunger. Your brain rewards itself with a false victory. The dopamine rush of being seen as ambitious replaces a genuine satisfaction of disciplined work. And in that false victory, your drive diminishes. History's great achievers understood this trap. Henry Ford did not parade his plans for an affordable automobile through endless speeches. He built the Model T. Andrew Carnegie did not hold rallies to announce he would dominate the steel industry. He quietly expanded his empire until his dominance was undeniable. These men let their results speak. Their names became symbols of industry not because they shouted their goals, but because they worked in silence and delivered beyond imagination. Their lesson is clear. Action is the true announcement. When you choose action over words, you align yourself with the natural laws of success. The world respects results. People may laugh at your ideas, doubt your abilities, or ignore your vision, but they cannot argue with results. Words can be dismissed. Results cannot. A completed bridge stands where no bridge once stood. A company that thrives cannot be denied. A book written, a product launched, a service delivered. These speak louder than any declaration ever could. There is another subtle danger in making announcements: accountability to the wrong audience. When you tell people what you will do, you make yourself accountable to their expectations, not your own standards. You begin to perform for their approval rather than for fulfillment of your vision. And because their expectations are often shallow, you may adjust your efforts to gain quick applause instead of building long-term greatness. In this way, announcements become chains. They bind you to external validation instead of internal discipline. The wiser path is to act privately and reveal publicly only when your work is complete. Instead of chasing the rush of being seen as ambitious, you chase the deeper fulfillment of being truly accomplished. Your validation comes not from the clapping of hands, but from the reality of progress. And when you finally reveal what you have built, the world responds not with shallow encouragement, but with awe. Napoleon Hill taught the principle of definite chief aim, the necessity of having a clear, specific goal and pursuing it with relentless focus. But he also warned that this aim must be guarded. It is not for casual conversation, not for entertainment, not for display. It is for disciplined action, day after day, in silence if necessary, until it is achieved. To dilute this aim with constant announcements is to weaken it. To strengthen it, you must transform every ounce of energy into work. There is also a psychological power in silence while working. When you do not announce, you preserve the element of surprise. Your competitors cannot prepare, your doubters cannot interfere, and your critics cannot mock what they do not see. You create an advantage simply by keeping your intentions hidden until your results are undeniable. Silence becomes not only discipline, but strategy. Think of Thomas Edison. He conducted thousands of experiments before perfecting the electric light. Imagine if he had announced each attempt to the world. He would have been ridiculed, discouraged, perhaps even stopped. Instead, he labored quietly, protected by the shield of his own focus, until he produced a result that changed the course of human history. His silence was his strength, and his action was his announcement. To apply this principle in your own life, begin with a shift in habit. Resist the urge to announce new goals publicly. Instead, write them down in a private journal. Let your journal bear witness to your ambitions, not the crowd. Track your progress quietly. Each day, ask yourself not who have I told, but what have I done? Replace the hunger for recognition with the hunger for results. Build rituals of execution. Dedicate specific hours to your work. Shield it from distraction and unnecessary conversation. Create measurable steps and reward yourself not with applause, but with progress. Teach yourself to find satisfaction not in being seen as ambitious, but in becoming undeniably accomplished. This shift in mindset will free you from the weakness of announcements and root you in the strength of action. And remember, when your results finally arrive, they will not need your explanation. Results speak a language the world understands. Results silence critics, inspire believers, and command respect. The talker must always defend his words. The doer needs no defense. His work speaks for him, louder and clearer than any speech ever could. In the end, action over announcements is the dividing line between dreamers and achievers. The dreamer talks, hoping words will make the vision real. The achiever works, knowing that only labor can transform vision into reality. Choose action. Let your silence shield you, your work define you, and your results announce you. For when the harvest comes, the world will not remember what you promised. It will remember what you produced. Every dream begins in the mind. Every achievement is first born in imagination, then nurtured in belief, then strengthened by faith, until finally it takes form in the physical world. Napoleon Hill declared with certainty, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But here lies a truth often overlooked. If the mind is to conceive and believe, it must be protected. It must become a fortress, guarded from the invasion of doubt, fear, ridicule, and negativity. Building this inner fortress is not optional. It is essential for anyone who desires to achieve greatness without being destroyed by outside forces. Think of the mind as fertile soil. Whatever is planted there will grow. If you plant seeds of faith, discipline, and vision, the soil will yield abundance. But if you allow others to scatter weeds of fear and doubt into that soil, the harvest will be ruined. You cannot control what others say, but you can control what enters your inner garden. Building the fortress of inner power means erecting walls around your thoughts, so that only the seeds you choose can take root. This is the discipline of silence. By keeping your plans private, you deny others the opportunity to contaminate your soil with their skepticism. You create sacred ground where your dreams can grow undisturbed. The metaphor of the seed is crucial. No farmer digs up his seeds each day to prove to his neighbors that something is happening underground. He knows that the growth is invisible at first, hidden from sight, protected by darkness. In time, with water, sunlight, and patience, the seed becomes a harvest. In the same way, your dreams must remain planted in the soil of your mind, hidden until they are strong enough to appear. To dig them up daily for the approval of others is to destroy their growth. Protect them, guard them, trust the process of silence and patience. To build this fortress, you must practice habits that strengthen your inner power. Hill spoke of autosuggestion. the practice of feeding the mind with positive affirmations and images of success until belief becomes unshakable. Each day, speak to yourself the words you wish to live by. I am capable. My vision is possible. Nothing can stop me. These words are bricks in the wall of your fortress. Each visualization of your success is another layer of protection. Over time, your mind becomes so fortified that the arrows of doubt bounce off harmlessly. Visualization is another key weapon. When you close your eyes and see yourself already living the life you desire, already accomplishing the goals you've set, your subconscious accepts it as reality. It begins to attract the resources, ideas, and opportunities necessary to bring that vision to life. But for visualization to work, it must be shielded from ridicule. If you share your visions too soon, others will laugh, and their laughter will poison the picture in your mind. By keeping it private, you allow the image to solidify until nothing can erase it. The fortress of inner power also requires emotional discipline. The world is filled with dream killers, people who may not even intend harm, but whose words, attitudes, and actions can weaken your resolve. You must learn to recognize them and deny them entry into your inner world. This does not mean cutting everyone out of your life, but it does mean setting boundaries. Share your daily conversations, your casual stories, but not the sacred core of your dreams. Those belong inside the fortress. Guard it until the moment of triumph. There is a story of a farmer who worked quietly on barren land, while his neighbors mocked him. They saw only dirt and weeds, and they ridiculed his persistence. But the farmer said nothing. He kept sowing, watering, tending the soil. When the harvest came, his field stood tall with golden crops, while the fields of his neighbors lay empty. The laughter stopped. The same people who mocked him now asked for his advice. This is the power of building your fortress, protecting your work until it speaks for itself. Another critical element of this fortress is focus. In a noisy world, distractions are constant. Every announcement, every conversation, every unnecessary word scatters your energy outward. Silence gathers your energy inward. It concentrates your focus like sunlight through a magnifying glass, creating heat powerful enough to ignite fire. The person who speaks less and works more channels all their energy into progress. The fortress keeps distractions out and preserves the intensity needed to achieve. Practical steps can help. Begin with a morning ritual of silence. Time alone with your thoughts, affirmations, and visualizations before you let the noise of the world in. End your day by reviewing your progress privately, writing down what you accomplished and what you'll do next. Keep a journal of goals and victories that no one else sees. This journal becomes a record of your fortress, proof that you are moving forward even when the world is unaware. Guarding your inner power also means protecting your emotions. Learn to respond, not react. The world will test you with criticism, setbacks, and disappointments. If your mind is unfortified, these tests will crush you. But if you have built a fortress, you interpret every setback as feedback, every criticism as fuel, every delay as preparation. You no longer depend on others for belief, because your belief is self-generated, locked safely inside. Building the fortress of inner power is not a single act. It is a lifestyle. It is the daily choice to guard your vision, strengthen your faith, and concentrate your energy. It is the discipline of silence, the practice of auto-suggestion, the habit of visualization, the wisdom of selective speech. With this fortress, you become unstoppable. Without it, you remain vulnerable to the opinions, doubts, and ridicule of others. When you understand this, you no longer see silence as emptiness. You see it as strength. Silence becomes your shield. Faith becomes your weapon. Focus becomes your strategy. And the fortress of inner power becomes the unshakable foundation upon which you build your future. Protect it fiercely, for within it lies everything you are destined to become. Silence is not weakness. Silence is not fear. Silence is power, strategy, discipline, and wisdom. As we have seen, those who achieve the greatest victories are not the ones who talk the loudest about their intentions, but the ones who let their results shake the world. The talker spends his energy in words. The achiever saves his energy for action. The talker seeks applause for what he will do. The achiever commands respect for what he has done. This is a hidden key to power. Never tell people what you do. Show them when it is complete. Napoleon Hill reminded us that genuine wisdom is usually conspicuous through modesty and silence. The person who boasts of tomorrow's victories before they have earned today's is not wise, but reckless. Yet the one who guards his vision, who holds it close, who protects it in silence, is the one who multiplies its strength. He knows that the world is filled with doubt, ridicule, and envy, and so he builds walls around his mind until his idea has grown strong enough to stand in the light. Silence shields you from critics. It protects you from thieves of ideas, and it keeps your subconscious free of fear. Silence also creates mystery, and mystery creates influence. People respect what they cannot fully understand. They lean in when you do not reveal. They wonder, they speculate, they admire. Your silence becomes a magnet, drawing attention, even as you work quietly behind the scenes. And when the time comes, when you finally unveil what you've built, the world has no choice but to recognize it. Above all, silence preserves your energy for what matters most. Action. Words are wind, but action is substance. You do not need to announce a seed for it to grow. You do not need to describe a harvest for it to feed thousands. You need only to plant, to water, to tend, and to wait. When the season comes, the seed will prove itself. In the same way, your vision will prove itself when you act with discipline and let the results speak. Think of the lion once more. The lion does not roar before the hunt. It moves silently, patiently, invisibly, and when it strikes, it is swift, undeniable, final. Be like the lion. Move in silence. Build in silence. Work in silence. And when the moment is right, let your results roar. The message is clear. Guard your vision. Protect your faith. Let your results be your announcement. Do not be seduced by the shallow thrill of premature applause. Do not trade the reality of success for the illusion of recognition. Keep your silence sacred until your triumph is undeniable. So today, make a decision. Decide that from this moment forward, you will no longer scatter your energy in empty declarations. You will no longer give your critics ammunition. You will no longer let others plant fear into your imagination. Instead, you will build a fortress of inner power. You will live by the law of secrecy. You will protect your vision as a treasure. And you will let your silence be the soil in which your dreams grow strong. For one day, when the time is right, your results will speak. They will roar louder than any words you could have spoken. And the world will not remember what you promised. It will remember what you produced. Your silence today will be your thunder tomorrow. Never tell people what you do. Let your success introduce you. If you found value in these insights inspired by Napoleon Hill, make sure to subscribe for more powerful lessons on mindset, wealth, and personal growth. We share timeless wisdom, practical strategies, and motivational content to help you unlock your full potential. Stay inspired. Stay focused. Master your mind.